Shoot, no sound. We got sound now? Oh, that sucks. 2 minutes of dead air. Yeah, I forgot to press the button. You guys can hear me now, right? Can you guys hear me now? Let me get a little input before I keep going. 2 minutes of dead silence. I was on a good little roll. Okay, so let's start this over. Glory be to God. Welcome back. My name's Raul. This is Lift the Noise, man. Really just getting on the live streams. On my channel as of lately, I've been an NPC channel for the longest time, but now I got the SP right in front of me. Here it is. And yeah, so what we're doing today is exploring a new update. So it's update 1.14. And what I was saying earlier is that, well, I was asking how many of you guys actually got your MK2, and when you do receive it, if you're receiving it just now, you're going to want to update it. So let me know if you can see the screen. So this is the update history. This is all the details, what's new with the update. So when you get your SP-404, when you get your MK2, it's going to ship with a really early, I guess, firmware. What is it? They call it system program. So it's not firmware. Okay, so their language system program. It comes with like 1.01, and then there's been a few updates. I updated to 1.13, and then I updated tonight to 1.14, and there's a bunch of stuff in this. So I don't know if I'm going to get all through this. I'll probably be up till like 4 in the morning if I try to get through all of them, because there's quite a bit. But I started reading this while I was at work. I was taking a peek at it, and there's one thing that really caught my attention. I really just stopped reading because it hit a point that I wanted, and I did not expect to see coming this quickly. So yeah, we'll get to it. So I'm gonna go down the list a little bit and just kind of try to explore some things. There may be some things I read and I don't understand, so I can't probably show it to you. But let's chat about it and let's get in here. So additional functionality improvements. Sample pad playback can now be independently muted. Pad mute. So it has direction. So in order to mute a sample, you want to hold down shift and press reverse. So let's see how that works. So let me so I'm also, one thing I mentioned while my sound was out is that I have a new like live stream layout and stuff. I actually just bought a Windows Surface Go tablet, and I'm running StreamYard. So I've been doing it with a phone app on my Android for a minute. So give me a second to kind of figure out how to do these things. So looking at this, and then looking at this first added functionality. So I can mute samples individually by holding down shift and then pressing reverse. So guessing by pressing, there it is. So hold shift, press reverse, and then press the pad. Okay, interesting. There fit some things in there. Mute, unmute, unmute. Okay, interesting. All right, let's go back to sharing my screen. I might be moving at a snail's pace. But what's good, everyone? Come on in the chat and let me know. Do you got your MK2s yet? Okay, so pad muted samples can now be monitored via headphone. Okay, Q. So you can, okay, that's interesting. Not going to explore that, but okay, see the pitch and speed parameters of multiple samples in a mute group can now be changed simultaneously. At the pitch speed screen, hold down copy and change the parameter. Okay, so they have to be in the same. Right. Okay, the pitch and speed parameters of multiple samples in a mute group. Okay, so they have to be in a mute group. So let's say, let's put these are in a mute group right now. Okay, so if I go on this screen here, let me know if you guys can see this, because I can do like some. I think my overhead's pretty clear. So in pitch speed, it said if you hold down, what was it? Copy. Hold down copy and then change the parameters. Okay, so like if you change the parameter without holding down copy, so I'll change like the pitch of this hi-hat, but these aren't changed, right? But if I hold down copy to mute group, see that little thing pops up to mute group, to current pad to mute group. Interesting, cool. So then I'm pitching. That's pretty nice. I like that. These are some cool functions. Never would have thought of, you know. But it's the kind of thing that it's like the kind of thing you got to read for sure, because it's not written down. So it's like a hidden features almost. They're giving them to you, but they're these little keys that you got to do. But that makes sense, you know. Copy button, hold the copy down to change multiple pads, but they got to be in the mute group. So remember that. That's cool. All right, let's go check out the next one. Okay. Beak, Boom Bap channel. Still waiting on Guitar Center. Just ordered mine for a dumb price because of impatience. What is this dumb price? What you mean? Where did you order it for a dumb price? Okay, next one. Yes, we're already where I really wanted to be at. So, when I read this, I was super excited. Because I was hoping that this would come eventually, but they're really starting to advance on the chromatic mode. So no, the chromatic mode can be played by MIDI input from an external source, and then it says it's playable on channel 16, octaves C2 through C4. So you get 2 octaves. Pretty cool. Yeah. So prior to that, like when you get your your MK2, a lot of stuff, like I said, you're gonna have an early version 1.0 something. It's not gonna have much functionality with chromatic. It's just not even usable. You can go in there and you can play, you know, chromatically or whatever, but it's not even you can't even resample. And then it's also not usable like in your pattern sequencer. But once you update to like 1.13, you're able to resample chromatic mode. Now, chromatic mode still needs some advancements, like it'd be nice if it was polyphonic. Right now, it's monophonic. So the resample thing was cool. Now this is the next step up. So I have right here, I got the Oxygen Pro Mini, which is a great little keyboard. The Oxygen Pro line is nice. It's like very full featured, and it's got like a mini jack, you know, MIDI out. So I bought this cable. Now I'm not necessarily recommending this cable, but it's a Boss BCC-1-3535. So you get like let's see. So the MK2 has these little mini jack MIDI inputs, and then the M Audio has the mini jack M Audio output. So the reason I can't recommend it is I don't know what's going on. It works, but then sometimes it seems to go out. Like I've actually had like serious issues with like, sorry about that audio. It's like frozen up on me. Whoops. It's frozen up on me, and I wasn't even able to power my SP off without like unplugging the power source. So yeah, that sounds kind of bad, but I'm risking it for you guys so I can show you guys this. So I think Roland, they like recommend a specific cable, but it's not, from what I've seen, it wasn't like mini jack to mini jack. So it's more like the regular 5-pin MIDI to mini. But yeah, this seems to work sometimes it doesn't. I don't know the specifics why. But let's see. Yeah, it's working right now. So the way that the SP works with as far as MIDI channels is like each pad bank is a different MIDI channel. So pad bank A is on MIDI channel 1. Pad bank B, I think, is on 2. so on and so on. So, but with this chromatic thing, it's saying that it's on channel 16. So first of all, I'm going to load up a single note. So I have a few in here. Little melodic samples. See what I want. Let's go with this. Okay. So I've got like a little violin, one shot, little melodic sound. So if I hold shift, press chromatic, you know, we got it here. But over here on the Oxygen Pro, I'm not That's a weird thing. I don't know why, but I'm pressing this MIDI keyboard and it's turning off my external source. That's me just discovering this right now. I don't know what that's about, but okay. So right now I'm on channel 1. So this is a cool little keyboard because you can really dive into it. It's got a little screen. It's got all these buttons. So if I hit shift mode and then I turn this little knob, I get to, I don't know if you can see this, but this is global channel. Press this in and I can turn this all the way to channel 16. And now, and I'm getting 2 octaves. So this is a C sharp note. I have that sample labeled. I'm not sure, haven't really explored how to get it. That would be cool if you can determine what the root note is and then it would land it there, but it's not set like that. So C sharp for some reason is on E. But yeah, it's playable. And then I was exploring this. This is the first thing I jumped on before I even got online. And what's cool about it is once you exit chromatic mode, it's still playable. So what you can do is resample and press a pad, and then you press the pad you want to resample, and then you can play your keys. And now I don't even know what key this is in right now, so it's just gonna be horrible. Hold on a second. Let me at least try to figure out. Okay, let's just do that. Okay, so resample. Put on this pad, and then so that should do it. Now I should have that played back. So that's actually pretty dope right there. The functionality of chromatic is now up a bit. I checked and I don't think it's, as far as my testing, it is still not sequenceable in the pattern sequencer. But this is cool, just being able to resample and play a pad. That's the dope forethought that they did, is like you can exit chromatic mode and it's still the last thing that you last sample pad that you press before you went to chromatic mode is still playable, so you can resample. That's dope. So I'm very happy about that. Like I said, though, it would be cool if you can, and I got to explore a little bit. I'm just exploring this with you guys. I just heard like a couple hours before I came home from work that this was available and just had to jump on it. So I got to figure out a way. I know that like certain notes, certain pads land on certain notes. So if I put the C sharp, I figure out, I believe pad 13 and maybe pad 1 are C. So maybe like pad 14, if I put the sample that is C sharp on there or whatever corresponding to the pad note, that it'll be playable in a correct manner on your keyboard, right? Chromatically. Okay. From Japan, $840 after ship. Did you get it off of eBay? Jaime Thiago, good morning. Yeah, I don't know how much beat making I'll be doing, but just exploring this new firmware update, which is pretty exciting for us beat nerds over here. So yeah, let's see what's next on the list. It's a big list, but that was top for me right there. I'm happy with that, with just that. If they just had put that in there, all this other stuff seems to be so far kind of just cool, just bonus stuff. Okay, so what's next? The endpoint of a sample can now be set automatically during sampling or resampling by pressing start, end, and snap. Okay. That's interesting. I don't know if I quite understand what that's saying. So let me think about it for a second. Okay, so it says, let me try to read it one more time. It's now possible. The endpoint of a sample can now be set automatically during sampling or resampling by pressing start, end, and slash end snap. Start, end. Okay. The endpoint of a sample can now be set automatically during sampling or resampling by pressing start, end. Honestly, I don't get that. So if I was resampling, all right, you gonna check me just fumbling around on this one. Yeah, I really don't get it, but I guess we'll try to resample something. I'll just resample these guitars and then start in here. So, okay. So, okay. I think I'm starting to get it now. So, yeah. So if I don't want to resample, well, no. See, I'm thinking if you just hit record to stop, then that determines your endpoint. But let's see what happens. Okay. All right. So I hit record to stop. So taking a look at that new sample. Okay. Yeah, I'm sampling myself and then my voice. So it did do something. The endpoint is up here, but I'm not sure why. I thought I hit it earlier. Okay, so resample. Okay, let's see. Hold on. So it's when I do that, it says snap on, snap off. So snap on. Snap on. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I don't know if that's buggy or I'm just don't know what I'm doing. Let's just say I don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like the endpoint should have been more over here because that's like when I hit start in. Yeah, I'm just confused honestly about that one. But yeah, it seems like they're cramming a lot of shit in this. Let's see. Let's go check out the next thing. So, it's now possible to change the pad mode for sample playback by pressing the pads by pressing the hold button while in the DJ mode. Okay, I'm gonna skip this. I don't even do DJ mode. I haven't even explored it. Doesn't really seem like something I would use. So sorry guys if that's your kind of thing. It'll probably be a while till I even try to get into DJ mode and look at what the possibilities are for me with that. It is now possible to change the bus destination by holding down remain and pressing Q, pad 14 or pad 16 while in the DJ mode. So sorry once again, all you DJs or DJ mode fellas and ladies. I'm not gonna look at DJ mode. Note numbers received via MIDI in during pattern recording can now be simultaneously recorded in the pattern. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So like, if my understanding is correct, prior to this update, like I tried to record notes, sample pads with the keyboard in the pattern sequencer, and it wasn't possible. So let's see if I can do that. First of all, I'm going to change the MIDI channel. Let's go to channel 1. It's the only channel I've got. Hopefully this thing's still working. Okay. So weird. That's so weird. So I guess the external source pad is receiving MIDI. So I can turn it on from here. Strange. That's weird. Okay, so in the pattern sequencer. So before I wasn't able to record anything with the MIDI controller. So it sounds like this is what this is. So nice. Yeah, that's a dope one too. I mean, it's simple things like this. It's like an NPC would be able to do that, no problem, right? But yeah, they're getting it there. So that's cool. That's definitely cool. I think the next thing would be able to do like chromatic mode as well in pattern sequencer. So I got high hopes, man. They're really, it's kind of like as they're shipping these things out, they're really improving it. So by the time you guys who don't have it and are on back order for a minute, when you do receive it, it should be probably pretty legit because as you can see, they're moving pretty quickly. I've had this thing for like, I think what I got like early December, maybe. So about a month, and they've hit it with a few good things. That's definitely necessary, I think, to be able to play an external keyboard. Just makes it more of a beat making workstation, I think, with this. So like once chromatic mode, if you can do chords and stuff, like this thing is gonna be like pretty self-contained, and I'll be definitely very happy with that. So where y'all in the chat? Come on. Hi man, you gonna pick up an MK2? Come on, man. I know you can make some beats. Yeah, so let's take a look at the next thing. The next one. Patterns can be okay. Where am I at? Note numbers received at MIDI in during pattern recording can now be simultaneously recorded in the pattern. To that, during pattern recording, the gate parameters of respective samples can now be changed. Okay. That's pretty straightforward. I'm not even gonna go over that. In the pattern edit mode, patterns in a loop passage the wording can now be deleted. Okay, the patterns in a loop passage can now be deleted as a group for each respective pad. In pattern edit mode, patterns in a loop passage can now be deleted as a group for each respective pad. What does this mean? What does it mean? What does it really mean? Yeah, I'm moving slow, but going to Walmart now. You need anything? No, I'm pretty set. I'm pretty set, brother. Are you in town? You just messing with me. Excited to link this up with the live too. Cool. Yeah, I'm liking what it's doing just on its own. I like to explore that. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could do some cool things with them together, side by side. So where were we at? So pattern sequencer, and then pattern edit. Just talking about you can patterns can now be changed immediately during pattern playback while holding down and selecting a different pattern. Okay, wait, I'm skipping over stuff. Now it's possible to change the pad mode. Okay. Okay, where was that? In the pattern edit mode, let's go right here in the pattern edit mode. Patterns in a loop passage can now be deleted as a group for each respective pad. In a loop passage, it's just me getting through this wording and stuff, like the terminology. I think they just made that up. In a loop passage. What does that even mean? Oh. Check. Okay. Duplicate crop. I don't remember if crop. Yeah, crop has always been there, but deleting, and this is the pattern edit, right? So deleting stuff in a loop passage, whatever that means. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna spend too much time on figuring that out. But I think I just deleted everything. Nope. Okay, weird. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time on that one. Maybe you guys can tell me. Patterns can now be changed immediately during pattern playback by holding down subpad and selecting a different pad. Okay, we can explore that one. So as of right now, like when you have a pattern or two, when you press one and then you press the next one, it'll wait till that pattern to finish playing and it'll move on to the next one. Only got one pattern right here, so I'll copy this one. Okay. Let me make some changes on this one. Just take out that snare there. I don't know why the external source just turns off all the time. Okay, I may have an interruption. Might sound like my daughter was getting up. Okay, so I got two patterns now. And so this is how it normally behaves, right? So I press that one, press two, and now it's blinking. So as soon as this pattern ends, this one will start. So what did it say? It said, so if you hold subpad, I believe. Yeah, during pattern play by holding down subpad and then selecting a different pad. So, all right, so this is my subpad. So I'm gonna press this, hold this. Nice, that works. I don't know though. This is quite a bit of stuff that they're adding here, but it's like little hidden tips. Like if you don't read the manual, you definitely won't figure that kind of thing out, right? Because they really got to take advantage of the buttons here, because we're not like doing a lot of menu diving with this with the SP. But it's cool. It's cool. Now let's look at what else we got. Note numbers corresponding to pads can now be output externally via MIDI out during pattern playback. Okay. I don't really have a way of checking that. I'm not plugged into something. So I'm guessing that would be using the SP as more of a MIDI controller. Yeah. And I mean, this is cool. You want to, like, as soon as you upload this, you're going to want to go to this site, right? You're going to go to this. I'll put the link in there in the description. You're going to go to this because it has pretty much underneath every single new little feature, the steps on how to do it. The display can now be turned off after a specified interval has elapsed. Utility, general, screensaver type, display off. Okay. Pretty straightforward, not really a feature, like a workflow feature. So I'll just skip it. How samples are played back at switching between patterns during pattern playback can now be specified. Okay. Utility, general, pattern change mode. Yeah, I guess I'll look at that. Let me see how. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so shift utility. I gotta exit pattern mode. I would like if they didn't have this locked up. Like whenever you're in pattern mode and you try to do like a shift pad for like another function, it tells you gotta exit pattern mode. If they just unlock that, I think that would be a lot smoother. Not sure what the point is in having it locked up like that, but I guess it makes sense because I mean they might want to have some kind of feature like within pattern mode where you hold shift and you press a pad. All right, so shift utility, and then general to the system. Utility general. Where's general? All right, here, and then pattern change mode, MK2 SX. Okay, so I guess let's try out SX. I never had an SX. I had a 404A, but I never used the pattern sequencer in the 404A. So let's see what's different, if anything, about that. Pattern mode. Not sure I'm seeing much of a difference yet. Yeah. I'm not sure what the difference is there. Maybe someone with an SX could explain to me, or maybe I'm just misunderstanding that because it did say sample switching. How samples are played back at switching between patterns. Back at switching between patterns during pattern playback can now be specified. I'm not really sure what that means. How samples are played back at switching between patterns. So it's a weird wording. I'm not understanding too clearly. Next one. The display time of pop-ups can now be set. So what does it mean by pop-ups? The first thing that's coming to mind is like when I'm using these new features, and when you press those little pad combinations, whatever it is, like what was one of them, like well, let's see, how do you do this? Utility general pop-up time. So I'm assuming now this isn't really too much of a workflow thing, I guess. I mean, it's helpful because I've noticed like sometimes when you do something and a little message kind of pops up and it disappears, you're like, did I do something wrong here? Did I exit that mode, whatever it was? So like in this mode, right? where it was like copy. Turn pad. Let me take a look at the wording on that, how to do this and see. Tilde general pop-up time. Pop-up time. Short and off. Short, off. I'm not sure what the pop-up time is, really. Well, if we turn it off and we go try that thing. No, so that's not considered a pop-up, I guess. I don't know. This is just an exploration. Normal. I don't know what else it'd be referring to as far as pop-ups, but I think that might have been a little longer. Who knows? I don't know, I'm just gonna put it back. Short. Okay. I'll be there tomorrow. I'll bring you some milk. All right. We're on the chat. I don't really like how this is set up. I mean, that's a little getting used to. Just working with this with StreamYard versus the Camera File Live app that I've been using. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, I couldn't do the screen share thing before. I could, but I just had way too many issues with like crashing and stuff. That seems pretty solid right now. I was unsure. Like I said earlier, I picked up a Windows Surface Go, so it's not the Pro. It's the Go. It's like a light version. It's only got 4 gigabytes of RAM and like 64 gigs of storage. And I picked it up because it was the cheapest thing, but I was a little hesitant, wondering if this would actually be enough to do what I'm trying to do. The gain for your audio output via phones out can now be set to a lower level. Well, that's cool. I feel like that was already possible, so I'm not sure exactly. The Bpm Sync parameter for all samples in a bank can now be set to on or off. Okay, I haven't really necessarily gotten hang of the Bpm Sync. Yeah, it's a little weird. The gate parameter for the external source pad can now be set and can now also be recorded into a pattern. I'm not sure I understand that one either. The gate parameter for the external source. So the gate parameter, yeah, so like when you hold a pad down, it'll play out. When you press it and let go, it stops playing, right? If you're coming from the MPC world, I guess that's like note on, and versus like when you turn gate off, it's like a one shot. But what this means concerning the external source pad can now be set and can now also be recorded in a pattern. I really don't know. I'm not gonna even try to understand that. Operation when split samples are assigned to respective pads in the chop mode. Yeah, I haven't. The chop mode, I had a whole issue with the chop mode in a stream like a couple weeks back where I couldn't even figure out how to assign my samples. So this, I don't know. Where y'all in the chat though? Come on, I need a little more activity over here. And then also, I'm not really feeling this white background on this Windows Edge thing. Anyone know how to turn dark mode on Windows Edge? Let's see. Is there any peak detection with this SP? Peak detection. No. No, I don't think so. You're talking about like 0 dB going up and clipping? Not really. There's no meters necessarily. I feel like I don't know. I feel like my SP-404 had like a little light on the volume knob. So, but no, I'm not, nothing like that. I mean, it's obvious when it does happen, I think, when it starts breaking your ears. But yeah, there's no meters in this thing as far as I can. Yeah, it'd be interesting if they had like a mixer in this, but I don't know. I don't want to. Like I said before, like I don't want to see this get way too many features. It's cool as is, you know, like limited. Had a ring, right? A ring. What do you mean by that? Like when I was referring to the light? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean, but this thing right here, the Juno DS has a cool little mixer. If they could even put that in here, some of the stuff they did with the sequencer on this, I think is just brilliant. As simple as it is, it's brilliant. And I loved it. I was really at it for like 2 weeks until I got the SP. Yeah, so I started using this thing. I mean, it's better. I think it's better because right now in the pattern sequencer, like when you play this, get these little numbers. You get these little numbers. I hate that does that. You get these little numbers, right? It's like the bar count, which is fine, I guess. But like with the Juno DS over here, the sequencer has like literal bars. Like it'll have these little rectangles. And each one represents a bar. And so like if you made it, I guess like 4 bars, it would have 4 literal bars, and you would see the line. And it would be like fill up, and then it'll go to the next one. And I think that visual was pretty damn brilliant versus seeing numbers. I mean, it both works, but I think if they had that in here, I mean, it's Roland. Roland makes the Juno DS, and they have one of the, I think they have one of the best sequencers. So basic, one of the best sequencers though. Right here, it's an 8-track sequencer. You move you got these little 8 pads right here, and you move between tracks with the pads. So boom, boom, immediate. It's dope. I've been wanting to do a little stream with this or a video, but just ain't had like the proper like setup with the cameras and stuff where it actually looks like a presentable thing. But yeah, that's dope. If that was in here, super dope. Super cool. And honestly, like this, I mean, if they made a little like a mini keyboard, oh man, that would kill it. That would be so dope. Let me get back to the topic. I think we're almost through everything. I'm surprised. It was a big list. I was a little bit overwhelmed when I looked at it. I'm like, I'm gonna explore every one of these things, and I'm probably not gonna know what I'm talking about. But yeah, here we go. We're almost through them. Operation when importing samples from an SD card has been improved. I wonder what that means, because I was already talking to a few of you in the comments about how kind of sluggish that is, because like I don't know if they fixed this yet. I didn't notice. If I could just get out of here. Let me pull up the overhead though, so you guys see what I'm doing. I'm multitasking here. So I got the mouse on the StreamYard software, and then I also got like I've got the little video switch over here. So yeah, bear with me. Nunu 8, what's good? Thank you for dropping in the chat room. I appreciate it, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I wish more of you guys would be active in the chat room. Start talking, start asking questions, start making statements, and tell me what's good. How are y'all feeling? What time is it? It's early. It's late. What is it? It's 2:31 where I'm at, California time. So it's late because I ain't been to bed, but it's early for those of you who already went to bed, right? Okay, what was I doing? I gotta forget what I was doing. Gotta look at the last thing I was looking at. Okay, so we were talking about importing samples has been improved. So one of the messed up things with importing samples with this was when you load a single sample to a pad, then you'd have to, it actually kicks you out of the browser and you have to go back in, and it kicks you out of all the subfolders that you went in. So you had to start from scratch from the position and then navigate through all the folders till you find the sample folder that you wanted to pull your samples from and then load them up. And you have to do that every single time, right? I mean, one thing you could do is load up multiple samples. But if you had like a folder of just kick drums, you don't necessarily want to just load up a bunch of kick drums. You want to make like I do, I want to make a drum kit. So I want to load up a kick from here. I want to load up a snare from there, hi-hat from here, and then, lay them on the pads. But it's not very fluid in that it kicks you out. Like I said, it kicks you out of the file and brings you back to the root folder of your SD card. So you have to navigate all the way through. So, all right. Well, let me go to a new bank. Let's just go to a new bank and see how this works. Let's try to make a drum kit import. Got a bunch of drums in here. Drum broker. Okay. Load that kick. Improved. I didn't even notice it earlier. But there it is. That's what I'm talking about. So before it would kick me out of here, and then you just be at your main screen over here. And then you have to go back in, shift import. These are import from SD card, pick sample, then go to your folder. So yeah, that's definitely been improved. So now I can it doesn't kick me out. So that's a huge improvement, fellas. So I don't remember who it was I was talking to. Hey, Bryant Wiley, I know that was something you were like, oh yeah, that's a horrible programming decision. So when you tune in, I know you don't usually tune in this late, but when you do tune in, you usually like hit them timestamps. So that's I appreciate that you like watching the whole videos and stuff, the streams. But yeah, man, they improved that. So now we're still in the browser. Huge improvement. Huge improvement. So now I can just go and find my hi-hat somewhere. This is one thing that it does kind of suck though, is that you don't have your polyphony in here. Seems like they cut each other out, so you have to exit. That's another thing that could be improved, is while you're in the browser still to be able to preview your samples, because that's an important part of loading your samples, or you're loading samples to match with other samples. So that's still flawed right there. See, I can in the browser, as you can hear again, trying to play these, they're cutting each other out. It's not working. So I can play one individually. But when I tried to simultaneously, they cut each other out. So that's another thing that could be improved. I don't know why it's doing that, but if you guys didn't think of that, Roland, if you didn't think of it, I just displayed it. Fix that. That's not good. It's not good. Okay, we're nearing the bottom. But yeah, that's a definitely improvement. So thank you, Roland. Appreciate it. Okay, so this is buttons that are not used in a live performance can now be disabled. Live mode. Hold down shift and press and hold. Remain for 3 seconds or 3 seconds or larger. Longer. Okay. Okay, so buttons. So aside from pads, I guess. So if you're in a live situation and you don't want to accidentally bump some buttons that might mess up your performance, I guess that's what this is for. They are really throwing some things in there that I would not, wouldn't even have thought of. But one of the first ones, like the copy thing, was changing parameters of multiple pads in a mute group. That's dope. Okay, so that's all the new features. Now we got bug fixes. The following bugs have been fixed during sample playback. Gate set to on and hold set to on. During sample playback, gate set to on and hold set to on. Playback stops when the bus destination is changed while pressing. Yeah, that's a bunch of wording that I gotta like dissect that. Maybe I'm slow. I don't get that one. Beak 5:31 a.m. on the East Coast. Okay, cool. What state? East Coast, man. Okay, what other bug fixes we got? During pattern recording, in rare cases, the final note sometimes fails to be recorded. Okay, well that's fixed. Good. Didn't come across that bug, but glad that's fixed. Actually, maybe I did come across that bug. I feel like maybe possibly did. Okay, when a sample having a fixed velocity is played, in the chromatic mode, the velocity is unfixed. And then you have other minor bugs that they don't want to go in. They don't care to go into detail about. So yeah, that's everything. I think that is everything. Yeah. So scrolling down here, if you haven't received your MK2 or you're just getting it, and we're like me, we're unaware that it had that it had like a really early OS on it or system. What are they calling it? Calling it system programs. Used to firmware of an MPC world. Yeah, you have the instructions on how to actually upload. So you download here, and it's like 2 files, and you want to put the files on the root, in the root of your SD card. So you need to get an SD card. I think that's like 32 gigs or smaller. Nothing larger will work, and then you got to format that with the SP. And then because when you format that with the SP, what you get is it creates folders in it, like so like if I went to, I don't know if you can see this really, I need to work on my lighting, but you have different folders like backup, export, import. Those are created when you format your SD card on your SP. And then when you export samples from this thing, they'll go in the export folder. When you import samples, you probably want to put them in that folder. So you want to put the, what is it called? System programs. There's 2 files. Once you download them, it's like a zip file. You extract it and you put those 2 files on the root folder, meaning don't put them in any subfolders. And then it's like you turn it off, hold shift, and power on while you're holding shift. And then you wait for it to do what it does and all that. So yeah, you guys got to update. So really cool. Let's see what's good in the chat room. CT, but Connecticut. Adrenaline Beast, what's good, man? Atlanta, right on. Just updated 1.13. Damn, another one. When did a DJ Funk? Was it Funky Sarah? Funky Sada? Or what am I reading it wrong? FUNK. Yeah, man. When did you get yours? But yeah, man, you should definitely. It's got some cool stuff in it. I mean, I think everything is extra. One of the first ones, I really appreciate when you put things in the mute groups, you can change the parameters. So if like which is very useful. Like if you were going to chop your samples, right? Because when you chop your samples, if you then decided you wanted to pitch your samples, you're going to want to pitch them all together. And prior to this update, you'd have to pitch them individually. So naturally, if you got a bunch of chops, you're going to put them in a mute group. So that's a requirement. You got to put them in the mute group. And then when you go into shift, when you go into pitch speed, then hold copy, and then it says to mute group. So when you make a change on one of them, it makes a change on all of them. I think that is one of the best features of it. And then on top of that, the chromatic mode. I'm really appreciating the chromatic mode because it makes this thing even more of a standalone, you know. And coming from the MPC world, I mean, you can do this kind of stuff, but for me, it always kind of fell short in that you have 16 levels, or what is it? Yeah, 16 levels where you can do the pitches and stuff, but that was only playable from the pads. And some people might be into just playing the pads, and that's cool. But I've always kind of wanted to have some kind of music theory to it, and try to understand as I'm creating music theory a little bit better on the scale of like a keyboard and stuff. And so having that instantaneously, like that would have been awesome if the MPC you hit 16 levels, you plug a keyboard in, and then you could play it, and you could even play it on beyond the 16 pitches, because that's like just barely an octave and a quarter of an octave. So yeah, that's really cool. That's honestly, and then you could do it with key groups. So key groups within the new MPC world versus the old world where, older MPCs just have 16 level. The new ones, we have key groups, and you can put it in, and then it naturally spreads it in. But there's a little bit more, and it's not much. You got to create a key group program. So that's one step. And then you got to assign the root note to the sample so that it's accurately on the keys. And then you got to assign it in your key group. But then once you assign it, if you're just using one shot, and then it spreads it across the keys. So that is cool. But this is much quicker now, and it's not 100% there where it's just, it's monophonic. I want polyphony, and once they put polyphony on it and then make it possible to record into the pattern sequencer, which I'm really liking now, by the way, then it's going to be super on point. And then once again, I got to explore it. But once again, if, when you hit shift mute group, if there was like some way of assigning what the root note is, then that would make that better. Because as of right now, I think you have to figure out what note that pad is hitting on the key, and then make sure you assign it to that pad so that you have it accurately playing in the proper keys on your keyboard. What about Mortal Kombat? What about it? What you mean? What do you mean? I'm confused. It was glitchy. What about Mortal Kombat? The new Mortal Kombat that came out? I mean, it wasn't super amazing. And then I could say the same thing about the Matrix. And the Matrix, the recent Matrix, man, I'm not even a critic. But yeah, I wasn't feeling that. Like, honestly, my thought was like that was unnecessary. But you may have another opinion. I don't even know if that's what you're talking about, movies. No, journaling, you can't use chromatic and pattern mode. You can't. But it's I'm sure it'll get there. I mean, scream loud enough. I don't know if they were already headed in this direction where you could play it from the keys, or because I mentioned this in the stream, and I've been going hard on the streams. I don't know how much attention it's drawn, if it's catching Roland's attention, if they're like tuning in, like, oh, let's see what, let's put our ear to the streets, to the ground. I don't know if they're watching my videos, but I mean, I would assume that's like just an obvious thing that you would want chromatic mode to be playable on a keyboard. So I would say it's nothing to do with my request, because I didn't make any official requests. But yeah, I would say naturally they're gonna put it in the sequencer eventually. I guess, just give them some time to figure out the whole software programming thing. I don't know what goes into that, but I couldn't do it. So, but right now it's pretty cool. Adrenaline, you just coming in. If you do go back, I don't know if I'm gonna. How long are we going here? I've been at an hour. I might go back and put in little timestamps for each one of these things. But if you go back, I think it's kind of early in the stream. One thing that is cool about it, yeah, I won't just do it again. One thing that's cool about the Chromatic is that once you go in it, you can exit it and then you can resample. So you can trigger a pad and then play something, and it's still assigned. Like you can still play it here, and then it won't change until you pick a new sample and go into chromatic mode. So they did something that's kind of nice there. Singapore, that's what's up. Yeah. I've never been outside of the US other than like where my family's from. And that's Costa Rica. So this is a little bit about my roots. Yeah. One day, maybe. They need to add a track me like thing for pads that got patterns. Yeah, track mute for like in the pattern mode. Yeah, that would be cool. Well, so I mean, we went over that where you can mute a pad now, but it's not in. Well, it might be possible to do it. So, like in pattern mode. I don't know why that mic gets muted. But when you press a pad and you hit pattern select, it'll access the just the pad mode. So like, so now I can press these. So if I can remember right, I don't remember correctly. It was one of the early. Let me look back at one of the first feature updates, additions. Okay, so what it was is if you hold down shift and press reverse, you can mute out pads. So there you go. You do have a pad mute there. So if you wanted to do like one pattern, just sequence one pattern, and then like maybe you could resample this. Yeah, like, or if you had this like plugged into your DAW and that's the way you want to do your arrangement, you could do it on the fly. Let's see if you could resample that. Okay, so yeah, so there you go. I mean, it's not a great performance, but as you can see, this works as a way of creating an arrangement on the fly with mute groups, or not mute groups, with track mutes in a way, pad mutes. Yeah, adrenaline. I think you were talking about. You asked me like, how do you do your bass line? So this is gonna help for definitely the way they've improved the chromatic, so you can make your bass lines with this for sure. Definitely helpful. But hey, Beak, did you appreciate that? What I just demonstrated? Like you could use that in a way, maybe what you were thinking as adding track mutes. So you have pad mutes, and you can essentially create an arrangement on the fly, like do a live performance arrangement. DJ Funky, I tried linking the MPC Live 2, but it seems it does not work as an interface for now unless I use a DAW to connect them both. Yeah, with your MPC Live 2, what I would do, since the MPC Live 2 has those assignable outs, I would assign, I would use like 1 and 2 or 3 and 4, send them out into this, and then send your output of your SP back into the input of your MPC, and then you could essentially just kind of like resample stuff using the effects on the fly. That's what I did when I had my 404 and I used to own the MPC Live. So with the MPC one, you don't have those assignable outputs, but you do with the MPC Live too. So yeah, definitely don't sleep on that if you hadn't thought about it. I'm not saying you haven't, but yeah, I don't think that's what, as far as I've heard, if you're trying to plug it in USB, I don't think it works. Jezza, hey, what's good? DJ Rec. That answers that. Dope. Just need a quick total volume kill, and I'm happy. Total volume kill. So just like pretty much like mute everything. About the MPC Live 2. So if you look on the back of your MPC, you have more than just your stereo outs. You have like assignable outs, 3 and 4, and like 5 and 6, I think, right? So you have a total of technically 6 outs, 3 stereo pairs. So you could, I don't know if you ever like if you go in the mixer, you can change where specific pads or whole programs are going out. So by default, they're going out 1 and 2, which is the stereo outputs. So you can go out 3 and 4, right? And then plug that into your SP, and then plug your SP's output to the input of your MPC. So what this does is, like, if you went out the stereo outs and then into the SP, then you'd have like a loop feedback. But because the outputs 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 are separate from your regular 1 and 2, you're gonna avoid that. So what you could do by doing that, connecting it that way, is you can play samples from your MPC through the effects on the MP or on the SP, and then on the fly resample them. So you could just turn the effects on here, play it on your MPC, hit sample, and then they're baked in like that. So I think that would be kind of the same benefit of plugging it into your USB if that actually worked. So it doesn't right now, but take advantage of your assignable outs if you weren't aware, is what I was saying. Yeah, I used to do that with when I used to have a Live and the 404A. So I did this, and I made a video on that. So you have to go back quite a bit. It's probably years ago, or at least a year ago, where I had the MPC Live hooked up into the 404 and doing exactly what I'm saying. So it would apply to this. You would hook it up the same way. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. And man, this has been solid. I was unsure, so I've got a new Microsoft Surface Go, the 3. I guess it's cool because I'm using like StreamYard, a whole nother server to run everything rather than using an app. But it's good. I was considering sending this back, but I think I'm gonna hold on to it for now, test it out. They said I could test it out for like 15 days. So, but it's cool. I think the next thing I'm gonna do is download the SP software. So there's like a SP MK2 librarian software, but it links. It's pretty cool. Like I've seen those kind of things in the past for other hardware where um it's kind of janky, like clunky and stuff. But this seems pretty streamlined, almost like it's hooking your MPC up to the MPC software. But it's more simple. So I want to explore that, see what I can do with it. Because apparently, because with a lot of those programs I've seen in the past, the way they work is you can use your computer to drag samples to the pads, and then like you would have to like, I don't know, put an SD card in, and then you could plug in and then play later on your hardware device. But it's streamlined in that like you whatever you do on the screen, you could do here. Which sounds, it's funny though, because like we talk about stuff that the SP is doing right now. It's like it seems like it's old technology, like stuff you should have been able to do, but it's exciting for some reason. I don't know. It's nerd stuff. Let's got the knowledge. Appreciate it. Journaling. I minimize my loop feedback on my MPC1, but I can't 100% get rid of any idea. Well, what's going on? What's your connection on the MPC1? Are you trying to do the SP in the MPC1? Because I don't know of any. You don't have any assignable out. So the way that I would be using my SP, and I had that set up for a while, was like just put the SP before all your other sampling stuff. So say I have a turntable, or I have a tablet here, and the tablet's plugged into the SP, and then the SP is plugged into the MPC. So taking advantage of the SP's effects, EQs, and isolators before it goes to MPC. So kind of using this as a mixer and an effects box before to apply to your effects. That's how I would go as far as connecting it to the MPC1. I don't know what it is that you're doing exactly. You have a Model 12, you say? Okay. Ghetto Styles, good morning. And good night to the others. Yeah. I'll be wrapping it up and going to bed soon. I wasn't even going to do this. Oh, damn. Got this shirt on. It says Grace, and I just spilled Gatorade on myself. Well, it ain't my Grace, huh? So the Model 12, yeah, I've seen a lot of people pulling that up, but I mean, I have no experience with it. With the MPC, I haven't really plugged any interfaces into it, so I don't know if there's much I can say on that. I mean, if I pictured it, so if you got the Model 12 plugged in, then all the individual tracks on the Model 12, I guess they're separate. I don't know. Yeah, man, I won't even try. Like if I had that then in front of me, then maybe I could. But yeah, I haven't done much with the USB audio on the MPC other than like a USB mic, and I didn't really like how that worked. It worked, but I just didn't like it compared to just plugging a mixer then a mic into it. Yeah, using the 12 outs on that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Peace, big. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much everything. I think I need to figure out my audio because there's a lot of static on my end. I don't know if y'all can hear it. It only happens when I introduce the MK2 into the equation. So I guess, how do you have those plugged in? Like where is the SP in that signal chain? Anybody got tips on cable management? Because I got ridiculous cables, and I think that's part of the reason why I get this extra self noise stuff going on, and it's just randomly middle before MPC 1. Yeah, I'm not sure. You do videos, Adrenaline, don't you? Do you have any videos on this? Maybe if you show me an example, then maybe I could take a look. Maybe I have an idea, and like I could, in theory, tell you something, but not from experience. Yeah, I hate this. There's just too many. Just cables overlapping cables and stuff, Okay, cool. Yeah, man. Are we linked up on IG? Are you on IG, Adrenaline? If you aren't, then if we aren't, then link up with me, and then maybe send me a link, because I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed to your channel, but I don't know if it's been a while since you uploaded something, or I'm just not getting notifications. Plus, I'm subscribed to a lot of people, so I think I was looking at the other day. I'm like, we're over 1,000 subscriptions, and I usually hit the bell icon on most people. Like if I'm gonna subscribe to somebody, then I'm gonna hit the bell icon. But then that ends up being just just an overflow of notifications. All right, for sure. Cool. Yeah, hit me there, and then send me the link. So yeah, man, I'll try to help. I'll watch that and see what I can say in theory. I understand the signal chain a little bit. So like when you plug the USB, so you're saying it's between the MPC. Yeah, I can't picture that, but so like if you go, Model 12 is going to USB, and then I think with the USB on the MPCs, you get up to 32 channels, so you get separate individual channels. So I guess those would appear, like I've never seen it physically on an MPC because I've never hooked it up. So just like, I'm guessing just like with like the MPC, with any of the MPCs, because they have the same software, but with the MPC you're missing the physical outs, but you have, I believe, you have at least 3 and 4. I don't know how many outputs the MPCX physically has, but the option is there, right? So you go in your mixer, you can go to individual pads, you go to whole programs, and you can change the output from like stereo or whatever it says, 1 and 2 master. I don't know what it says. It's been so long since I've been on the MPC. You can change it to 3 or 4, 5 and 6. I think you might be able to change it to individually to 3 and like do mono channels. So like when you plug in the interface, like you get all those, extra channels that pop up, I'm assuming. So I mean, that's kind of a key information. If I don't know if you've already shot the video, but if you could go into the mixer and like kind of show that. Heavy duty Velcro on the desk. I'm using Velcro to stick to the bottom of the. What are you sticking to the bottom of the desk? But I think I do remember some of the videos you did early on. Like you had like the I think the MPC stand, and you were doing a lot of stuff with, I don't know, it's just like a lot of on the go stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I am. Model to MK2 to MPC1. Model to MK2. Wow. Okay. Yeah, man, it's a model to MK2. So what are you going, like master outs of them, or like like one of the individual tracks to the MK2? I don't know. I'm gonna have to see it. See if I can. So I know this is C sharp. Just kind of explore this a little bit. I gotta go to channel 16. So if I pitch it, pitch it back 1, 2, 3 semitones. Oh, we got a key. What is this? Huh. 1, 2, 3. Back 1, 2, 3. Actually. Oh. Chromatic. One, two, three. Doesn't do anything. Trying to figure out how to get this so it lays on C sharp. So as you can see, so C sharp would be right here. So it's landed on right now. Oh. Oh, okay. So I gotta go forward. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't do anything. I don't know why. I'm not trying to pitch it so it moves it, but weird. There's got to be some other way. I guess the let me see. How do I really figure this out? Gotta go to channel. Wow. Channel 1. Okay. Okay, so this is C sharp. I'm not sure. There must be some kind of graph somewhere where it shows you what MIDI notes each pad is. And I think you're gonna have to, if you want to do chromatic mode like accurately, like and do scales like accurately and all that on the right keys, you're gonna have to set you have to know what the note of your sample is, and then set it on the specific corresponding pad. That's what I care most about with this. So, but I need to Carl's Jr. still open. Yeah, we gotta get some spicy chicken sandwiches. That sounds good right now. They don't make them like they used to, right? Okay, let's see. I'm gonna head out there. We hit like an hour and a half here, so I'm gonna come back, figure some things out, come back, do another video, do another stream with you guys. So I appreciate everybody. Let me hit the chat real quick and then just wrap this up. Self-adhesive Velcro. I still don't understand what it is you're Velcroing though. But looking forward to the video, man. Hit me on IG. thank you everybody for dropping in. I'll probably be lazy and not put timestamps on this thing. So, but yeah, it was an experience figuring these things out, kind of exploring it. I'm happy. I've got like at least 2 of the things in my head, like maybe 3 of the new features in my head that I remember. So I'm gonna definitely have to reference that. I don't know. It's kind of like it's cool. Like these are like added features, but they're also like not. They're kind of workflow things, but they're things you can ignore and just like pick up the things that you are useful to you. Like I'll definitely be using Chromatic Mode, but I'll be exploring that, trying to figure out how to get it set right. Um, yeah, I think I'll probably just end up making a whole bank full of like one shot samples that are melodic, like little, single notes and stuff, and then set them on their corresponding pad, and then have like a whole, it's like 16 sound module and stuff, just working at your fingertips like super quick. So I like the sound of that. I'm gonna explore that, and then yeah, the mute group thing where you can change parameters of things, multiple pads within a mute group. That's one of my favorite ones. And then you also have, I think, the other one that sticks out is the pad mute thing. So you can resample your pad mutes and create a arrangement on the fly. So that's cool. Yeah, but that's it. I'm gonna drop out. Jaime, it is 6 a.m. in New York. Is that where you're at right now, brother? But you're about right. Yeah. Yeah, my keyboard, Silver Hit. Thanks for dropping in chat, bro. It is connected, but it's not connected through USB. So the Oxygen Pro Mini has these mini jack midis, right? Just like the SP does. So let's see if we can, it's that. So it's the same thing on the SP. It's this cable. So not USB. Like when they had the whole leak for the SP with the MK2, it said the USB was for USB MIDI and audio. But it turned out it's not for MIDI keyboards plugged in. Hopefully they'll add that feature so you don't have to do something like this, because this is kind of janky. It doesn't end up always being the greatest thing for me. It like has frozen the SP where I'd actually had to pull out the power cable from the back for it to shut off, because like flipping the switch didn't shut it off. So that's kind of like, oh shit. But yeah, hopefully they add that. Right now the USB audio and MIDI is like you can control, like I've plugged this in to my tablet and controlled an app with the pads. So you got MIDI going out but not coming in. But all right, man. Everybody, God bless. Thank you for joining me. That's my cue. My daughter's having a little fit in her sleep. But all right, everyone. God bless. Till next time, be bold, live noise. Go Dallas, bro, for sure. That's my preference. All right. See you on the next one.